Hey everybody, welcome to Saturday Mornings Outdoors. My name is Paul K. As you can see, we are heading to a remote fishing hole and we're going to try our luck on this beautiful spring day. Birds are singing their spring songs and gonna have a little fun. Stay tuned, let's see how we do. This looks like a good enough spot to drown some worms, and I kind of planned on going up in that direction, but the wind's out of the north and it's kind of choppy, so we'll pick a little quiet lee side cove and give it a... And so today we're using the 10420 SS ultralight, ugly stick ultralight, the weighted, the weighted bobber, and the number 8 barbed hook, live bait hook. So I want to show you something about these worms that I'm using. I'm going to be using, these are trout worms. You buy them at Walmart and they've been sitting in there for who knows how long. Just make sure you got live ones. But I did a video on how to fatten them up and get them all healthy. Just add some good soil to it and put some leaves in there. Put some cornmeal or breadcrumbs in there. And those wiry trout worms turned into these guys. You know, a lot more thicker and more lively and healthy, and it really works. And you can keep them in there all winter, but that's what we're using for bait, some good healthy wigglers. And these were wiry as all get out, like I said, from Walmart. You know the drill, cover the whole hook. Those bobs will keep that lively worm from snaking its way off. Hey, put it out there. I was just thinking of something. So you go to all that trouble to fatten them all up and get them all ready and lively looking, and they're bigger and they're plump and juicy. And then you impale this barbed hook right through them. The destiny of the earthworm as far as humans go. Hey, that's the life and death struggle, bros. That's how it goes. You want fish, you got to give them something for. So I hiked over to that point earlier. It was too windy. Now it's flattening out kind of nice. I'll stay in this cove a little bit and just do a little bait fishing. I'm not sure if what the water temperature is. It's got to be close to 50, which means the active will activate the fish basically. I've already seen a few, I believe they're sunfish swirls or pickerel swirls, and so they're moving about. Let's see what happens. There's no weeds in here to speak of because it's early March, and giving it a whirl. Every now and then I see movements in the water. It's this clear, you can tell, you know, that's what you do, you look for movements, and I see these slashes, and they're pretty good size. It's either bass or pickerel. It's probably pickerel in here, and but slow, not a nibble. So moved along a little bit, and still using trout worms, but we had a lot of rain the past week, and everything's flooded out. But so the water's high, so I think night crawlers and trout worms would be a good choice. You know, they wash into the water and the fish would feed. And I'm seeing slashes. I'm seeing movement. Definitely fish, not water witches. And but haven't got a bite yet. My bobber is out there right about Chia. I doubt you can see it, but there's a hawk spiring, probably looking for squirrels and rabbits. That's over where I was, and it was too choppy, but yeah, it's hunting and fish on. He's still on while I get this stupid camera set up. That was he drove right into the weeds and busted me off. It might have been a pickerel, I don't know. Let's see here. I still got my bait, but it's definitely a fish. First hit of an extremely matted bottom here, weedy, in the summer, this little cove especially here. Actually, all the coves, they all get, you can walk on the weeds, but that's what he did. He took me right down, and I think my bob is, no, there it is, I got it. But it felt like it's smallish, maybe a pound, pound and a half, whatever. But no use crying over spilt bass. We keep rolling. Like, that's like the hardest part of making these videos. You know, I mean, I've been doing them for like 2 years now, and I'm the cameraman. I'm the actual subject, and hunting and fishing, and especially fishing. Well, hunting, absolutely true. When you're doing it by yourself, you can't leave the camera running because you end up with like 3 hours of nothing and then like a minute of the catch. So what I try to do is start the camera as the fish is hooked. But when you do that, you're not concentrating on landing on the fish, and it happens over and over again. And like, I know to make an interesting video, you have to really show the fight and then the landing of it and all that. But that at that instant dramatic time when he takes the bait and then you hook him, and that's generally when I'll try to start the camera, and then he'll start using tactics to unsnag himself, because he's fighting for life and death. He don't know, but that's the problem. So, you know, on one hand I could just hook the fish and reel it in and show you, but it's uninteresting, and that's making of these videos. So on one hand, it's a gamble. You know, when you get hooked, you got to try to turn the camera on and then reel it in, as opposed to just leaving it on all the time. Sometimes you get lucky, like after I'm done talking, like right at this moment, if I set the camera down, sometimes, like 1 in 100 times, you might get a bite, and then you can film the thing non-stop. And but that's the nature. And so this is why swan are so effective in keeping geese away. They flare up their wings and they make themselves look bigger than ever, and they just will hound these geese until they're out of here, or out of his turf anyway. The strongest survivor, and these big guys rule, I guess. Hey, fish on. Small pickerel. Hit a topwater. Get him up here. All right, finally, there's tons of pickerel in there. I think they're probably the only things that are active, you know. Yeah, probably 12 inches or so. Water's still pretty cold. But go back and tell your grandpa. He was relatively peeved. Last hit, you can kind of see exactly what they mean on the impulse hit. Is either the fish is hungry or he's just angry that the little minnow like violated its space and whacks the heck out of it. Because when the lure first landed, I twitched it and then I swam it for about 3 feet, and the pickerel was right there, and he saw that, and it was apparently in his space, and you could just see by the way the swirl in the water was, he just like turned into an S and spun around and just whacked it. So impulse strikes, basically. It's like when I see a Mars candy bar and I just gotta have it, I snag it. Running and gunning. Go to another spot. This is what I've been using, a little floating wrap, 1.5-inch floater, and super confident in that bait. Now I'm gonna switch to, it's a Man's auger tail spin. It's a little spinner bait, but just right for this time of year. And it's pretty cool. Let's see what happens with this. All right, first smallmouth of 24. Wahoo! It's probably 10, 11 inches. Let's get them in the water, get them unhooked. A beauty, huh? You got those tree peepers peeping in the background too. Sure sign of spring. All right, you. Got it. And he just, oh, there he goes. Man, that's fun. So you never believe what just happened. So I'm casting here, and I got snagged in that tree on that branch that's sticking way out. So I go around the side, I lay my rod down over here, go around there, bend the tree branch down, almost fall in, but I got my $7 lure back. Meanwhile, not thinking, the lure is still attached to the line, and by bending the branch down, my rod goes in the water. So luckily for me, after I busted the lure off of the branch, the line was still snagged in the tree. I grabbed the line and salvaged my stupid reel. I've had this rod and reel for decades and decades. It's really a nice pen, you know, and it's always it's an adventure and a struggle. You never know what you're gonna. This little wrap is just dominating today. Not even sniffs on worms. The auger spin, a few follows, but these, I've had about 7 follows. They're short striking it, or they're hesitant to strike it, and then I got the pick and the bass, and it's dominating. The lures are dominating today. Well, that's winds pushing in, and get a little raw, but got me the first pickerel of 24, and happy with that, and I'm all refreshed. So I hope you like this edition. We're gonna fish our way back out. If anything happens, of course, I'll let you know. And please like and subscribe. This has been Saturday Mornings Outdoors with Paul K. Get your butts out here. Oh, what's coming up is a couple trout tournaments and stock trout and herring run checks. So all the spring stuff's gonna be happening the next few weeks. So stay tuned, and let's get outside and catch some fish, man. See you boys later.